So I was reading my Bible and I came across the book of Ezekiel.
That's one of my favorites.
Me too. And it's really interesting considering what was going on at the time.
Tell me about it. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon had defeated Pharaoh Necho at the Battle of Carchemish and then invaded Judah.
And after 4 years, he tried to invade Egypt, but he was unsuccessful.
Which led to many rebellions among the states of the Levant.
Which owed allegiance to Judah. And that's when King Jehoiakim turned from Nebuchadnezzar and went back to Egypt.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the only way that Nebuchadnezzar knew how to deal with these rebellions was through the siege of Jerusalem.
Which takes us into the life of Ezekiel.
Come explore with us the life of Ezekiel the Prophet. Ezekiel was a prophet who conducted his ministry in Jerusalem and Babylon.
He started prophesying in the year 592 and stopped around 585. Let's hear from our friend Alex Dodson about these prophecies.
The first vision of Ezekiel occurs during Jehoiakim's 5th year of captivity. Ezekiel sees 4 winds and 4 faces, belonging to a man, a lion, an ox, and an eagle. Above the faces is a firmament. There sits a man on a throne. This vision was from the whirlwind from the north. He later prophesies an upcoming judgment by sword, famine, and pestilence. Robbers will defile the temple. Ezekiel has to make a chain as a symbol of impending captivity. He then has a vision of idolatries committed by Jewish rulers in Jerusalem. He has another vision of 6 men from the north who came with weapons of slaughter. Some people are marked on their foreheads by a man clothed in linen. Everyone else is smitten. The Shekinah, or cloud of God, moves from the inner sanctuary to the threshold of the temple. It is a sign that God's presence will depart. Ezekiel wants to intercede, but he cannot. He later has the same vision as he did in the first chapter.
Ezekiel had a big impact on the people of Jerusalem.
He helped people understand God's intentions during the siege of Jerusalem.
Let's hear from Dr. K.M. Kozakowski for more on the subject.
God uses Ezekiel to symbolize the sins and punishments for the Israelites. Ezekiel presents Jerusalem with a tile and uses an iron pan and models of a fort to signify the upcoming siege of Jerusalem by the Chaldeans. He must lie on his left side for 390 days, symbolizing the Israelites' 390 years of sin, and on his right side for 40 days, symbolizing Judah's 40 years. He only eats grain and uses cow manure for fuel. This all denotes the scarcity of necessities during the upcoming siege of Jerusalem. Another thing that Ezekiel has to do is to shave and burn 1/3 of his hair, smite another third with a knife, and scatter the rest into the wind. This shows the judgment that will be executed on Jerusalem. Further judgments include famine and beasts. Ezekiel then sets his face toward the mountains and prophesies that Israel's high places will become desolate, but a remnant shall be saved. Ezekiel moves his belongings from one place to another, showing the displacement that the people of Jerusalem will undergo. Disaster is coming. All these help the people understand God's intentions during the siege of Jerusalem.
Ezekiel 16:59 says, "This is what the sovereign Lord says. I will deal with you as you deserve, because you have despised my oath by breaking the covenant." The covenant that Ezekiel is referring to is one of the most important covenants made in the Old Testament to the Israelites on Mount Sinai.
We know that Ezekiel was a true prophet because by definition his prophecies came true.
How is this relevant today? Let's find out.
Ezekiel's prophecies are still relevant today because just like all Old Testament prophecies, they remind us of God's great power throughout all the ages. Along with this reason, Ezekiel's prophecies are relevant because they have to do with end times, which are still yet to come.
Ezekiel is my favorite Old Testament prophet because despite the great adversity going on in Jerusalem, he remained faithful to God.
Ezekiel is one of the more important prophets because he helped the Israelites understand God's plan for them during the siege of Jerusalem.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.